Welcome back to Kabir's Tech Dives. Apple just dropped iOS 18.1, and everyone is buzzing about Apple Intelligence.
Like it's going to turn our iPhones into...
Geniuses, right?
Yeah, like geniuses, exactly.
But let's unpack what's really there.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, Apple, they went big on the marketing, calling it a new chapter in Apple innovation. But when you look at iOS 18.1...
It's not exactly mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You've got I will say some helpful writing tools for sure.
Yeah.
Notification summaries, kind of neat. Cleanup tool in photos.
Right.
Siri even got a little bit of a makeover. But where's the revolution?
Well, that's the thing, right? It feels like Apple just dipped their toe in the AI pool instead of, doing a cannonball.
Right.
Take Siri, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got this new, glowy look.
Which is kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. But under the hood...
Same old Siri.
Same old Siri. Can't handle, juggling complex questions. Doesn't really get context the way some rivals do.
And what about all the rumors around AI-powered photo editing?
Right.
I was expecting, magic. And we got, object removal.
Yeah, it's helpful. Yeah. But other companies are already letting you create whole new scenes with AI.
Exactly.
It's wild.
It's wild.
And Apple's photo cleanup tool is a good example of this. It fills in the background nicely when you remove an object, but it feels more like a fancy editing trick than, genuine AI wizardry.
And here's the thing. A lot of the AI stuff is buried. You have to hunt for that summarize button in Mail or the proofreading tool. Why hide these features if they're supposed to be game changers?
It is an odd strategy. Maybe Apple isn't totally confident in these features yet. Or, maybe they're playing it safe, rolling things out slowly to manage expectations, which brings us to another point.
The elephant in the room?
The elephant in the room. Apple Intelligence is only available on, the very newest iPhones and Macs, plus that new iPad mini.
So much for a revolution when most people can't even try it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the rollout is all over the map. If you're in the UK like me, you have to wait until December for Apple Intelligence on iPhone. In other parts of Europe, even longer. I actually had to trick Siri into using American English just to play with some of the AI features.
Which highlights something right. People are resorting to workarounds and hacks just to get a taste of this so-called revolution. Shouldn't be that complicated.
Okay, so iOS 18.1, a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
But is there hope for Apple Intelligence beyond this?
Well, December seems to be the month to watch. Apple is promising something called Image Playground for AI image creation.
Okay.
Plus, personalized Genmoji, a more capable Siri, with, get this, ChatGPT integration.
Oh, wow.
We're also expecting a revamped Mail app that uses AI, so maybe the real Apple Intelligence is still on the horizon.
It sounds like they're holding back the good stuff.
Maybe a little bit.
So iOS 18.1 lays a foundation, but the exciting part comes later, for those who can actually access it, of course.
Yeah, the hardware requirements definitely limit who can experience Apple Intelligence right now, but I think it'd be good to maybe dive into some of the technical details a little bit.
Yeah, let's get a little geeky. What's going on under the hood that makes Apple Intelligence tick?
So one thing that sets Apple apart, I think, is their focus on on-device processing. So instead of sending your data to the cloud for the AI magic to happen, they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting right on your iPhone or Mac.
Okay, but how does that actually work, and why is Apple so keen on keeping everything on my device?
Well, imagine your device as a mini data center, right? Apple's designed these powerful chips, especially the M series, they're incredibly good at running these complex AI algorithms. So instead of sending your photos or messages to a server somewhere, the AI processing happens. It happens locally.
So it's like having a personal AI brain right in my phone.
Pretty much. And the reason Apple favors this approach, I think, is privacy. Your data is more secure when it stays on your device.
That makes sense. They're not sending my private stuff up to some server where who knows what could happen to it.
Exactly. It's a big part of their philosophy. And frankly, it's reassuring for users who are, concerned about data security.
Speaking of philosophy, it seems like Apple's taking a different approach to AI than, say, Google or Microsoft.
I think that's a great observation. Instead of launching a bunch of standalone AI apps, Apple seems to be weaving AI into existing features, almost making it invisible. It's like they're saying, AI should just work. It shouldn't feel like a separate thing.
Which I appreciate, because sometimes tech can feel so overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, I just want my phone to be smarter and more helpful, not feel like I'm piloting a spaceship.
Right, exactly.
But there is a downside to this approach, though.
Let me guess. If the AI is too hidden, people might not even know it's there.
You got it. It's a real balancing act, you know? Apple needs to make these features discoverable without sacrificing their design principles.
Okay, so we've got AI that's kind of hidden, only works on the newest devices, and a big chunk of the features are coming later. Is Apple Intelligence as revolutionary as they claim?
I think honestly, it's too early to say. iOS 18.1 is more like a preview, a hint of what's possible. The real test will be how these features evolve and whether they truly make our digital lives, better.
Well, we'll be keeping a close eye on things as they develop. But for now, I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for tuning in to Kabir's Tech Dives.
We really appreciate your support. And speaking of exciting things on the horizon.
Oh, yes. I'm launching my founder interview series on YouTube in November. I'll be chatting with some of the most innovative minds in tech, getting their insights on everything from the future of AI
to the challenges of building a successful startup.
Exactly. It's going to be a blast. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out.
We'll put a link in the show notes.
Thanks for the plug. Now, back to Apple Intelligence. Let's dive into Siri a little deeper. What are your thoughts on its current capabilities and the upcoming integration with ChatGPT?
So the fact that Siri hasn't really lived up to its potential, I don't think that's a secret.
Yeah.
Right? It's been kind of outclassed by competitors in terms of natural language understanding and the ability to handle those complex tasks.
Yeah, it's still pretty much set a timer and play music, Siri, for the most part. But ChatGPT integration, that has the potential to shake things up, right?
Absolutely. ChatGPT it's a large language model, which means it's been trained on a massive amount of text and code. It can generate human quality text, translate languages, write different kinds of creative content, and answer your questions in an informative way. It can do a lot.
Okay. But how will that actually change how we use Siri? Will it be able to, I don't know, understand me better, hold a conversation?
That's the hope. Integrating ChatGPT's capabilities into Siri, it could dramatically improve its ability to understand complex requests, generate creative text formats like poems, codes, scripts, musical pieces, email, letters, etc., and even adapt to your personal communication style.
Imagine asking Siri to, draft an email for you, and it actually sounds like something you would write.
I know, right? Or being able to have a more natural back and forth conversation with it instead of just giving it simple commands. That's the promise of this integration. But of course, we'll have to wait and see how it actually plays out.
And that's what makes this whole Apple Intelligence thing so fascinating, right? There's so much potential, but we're still in the very early stages.
We're on the cusp of a major shift in how we interact with technology. And Apple is clearly betting big on AI, but they're doing it in a very Apple way.
Focusing on privacy, seamless integration, and that intuitive user experience they're known for.
Exactly. It's a fascinating approach, and it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds in the coming, months and years.
Well, one thing's for sure, we'll be here to break it all down for you on Kabir's Tech Dives.
And speaking of breaking things down, maybe we should move on to another area where Apple's AI ambitions are becoming apparent: photo editing.
You mean beyond the somewhat underwhelming features we got in iOS 18.1?
Exactly. While object removal and background cleanup are, handy, they're not exactly groundbreaking. But there are hints that Apple is working on some, much more sophisticated AI-powered photo editing tools.
Ooh, like what? Spill the tea.
Well, remember those rumors about an image playground feature coming in December?
Yeah, I vaguely recall something about that. What is it supposed to do?
Okay, so think of it as a creative sandbox for your photos. It's rumored to use AI to let you manipulate images in all sorts of ways. Imagine being able to change the lighting, add elements to the scene, or even transform the style of your photo with just a few taps.
That sounds pretty quick, like having Photoshop in your pocket,
Yeah.
but way easier to use.
That's the idea. Apple's aiming to democratize these powerful editing tools,
Yeah.
making them accessible to everyone, not just professional photographers.
And this is all powered by AI.
Yes. Under the hood, it's using advanced algorithms to understand the content of your photo so it can make these edits in a way that looks, natural and realistic.
Okay, so Image Playground is definitely something I'm excited to try out when it drops. But what about the competition? Aren't other companies already offering, AI-powered photo editing features?
Oh, absolutely. They are. And some of them are pretty impressive. Google's Gemini, for example, is capable of generating like incredibly imaginative scenes and edits. And Meta's AI tools are also, making waves in this space.
So how does Apple plan to stand out? What's their unique angle?
Well, I think their focus on ease of use and integration will be key. They're not just trying to outdo the competition in terms of sheer AI power. They're trying to create an experience that feels intuitive and effortless.
It's the Apple way, isn't it? They're not about showing off the tech. They're about making it work seamlessly for the user.
Exactly. And I think that approach could be a winner, especially for casual users who want to enhance their photos without needing a degree in, photo editing.
So while iOS 18.1's photo editing features might feel a bit underwhelming right now, it sounds like there's a lot more to come in December. Image Playground could be a real game changer.
I think so too. It has the potential to transform the way we edit and share our photos, and it's a great example of how Apple is using AI to enhance, everyday experiences.
And that's what we love about technology, right?
Yeah.
When it makes our lives easier, more creative, and more fun.
Absolutely. And Apple's AI ambitions are clearly focused on doing just that. But there's another area where AI is playing an increasingly important role: personalized experiences. Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, one of the key promises of AI is the ability to tailor experiences to, individual users. And Apple is starting to leverage AI to create more personalized interactions with our devices.
Like how? Give me some examples.
Well, think about those personalized Genmoji that are rumored to be coming in December.
Yeah, I remember reading something about that. But how do they actually work?
It's all about AI. Apple is using machine learning algorithms to analyze your facial features, your style preferences, and even your emoji usage patterns to create a unique set of Genmoji that, reflects your personality.
So it's not just about picking from a preset library of Genmoji anymore.
Nope. These are custom designed just for you based on your individual characteristics. It's like having a personal avatar that truly represents who you are.
It's pretty cool. And I bet it uses a ton of data to pull that off.
It does. But remember, Apple's focus on privacy. They're likely processing all this data on your device, so it never leaves your phone. That's good to know. I like the idea of personalized experiences as long as my data is protected.
Absolutely. And personalized Genmoji are just one example. We're likely to see AI-powered personalization popping up in all sorts of places, from music recommendations to app suggestions.
It's like having a digital assistant that knows you inside and out and can anticipate your needs.
That's the vision, and it's pretty exciting. But it also raises some important questions.
Like what?
Well, how much personalization is too much? At what point does it become creepy or invasive?
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a fine line between helpful and creepy.
Exactly. And as AI gets more sophisticated, we're going to have some serious conversations about where that line is.
It's all part of this ongoing conversation about the role of AI in our lives and how we want to shape the future of this technology.
And that's a conversation we need to have together as users, developers, and policymakers. But for now, maybe we should take a deeper dive into another area where Apple is leveraging AI productivity.
Okay, productivity. That's something I'm always interested in.
Right. Who doesn't want to get more done in less time? And Apple's using AI to do just that with features like the new writing tools in iOS 18.1.
Yeah, those are they're pretty slick. I've been using them a lot lately. But what makes them different from other writing tools? What's the AI angle?
So these tools go beyond basic spell check and grammar correction. They're using AI to understand the context of what you're writing and provide more intelligent suggestions.
So it's like having a virtual editor looking over your shoulder.
Exactly. It can help you improve your sentence structure, suggest alternative word choices, and even flag potential issues with clarity or tone.
That's pretty impressive. It's like having a writing coach built into my phone.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder, what does this mean for the future of writing? Will AI eventually replace human writers?
That's a question a lot of people are asking, and honestly, I don't think AI will ever fully replace human creativity and storytelling ability.
But it can certainly make us better writers, right? It's
Right.
like having a powerful tool at our disposal.
Absolutely. And I think that's how we should view AI in general, as a tool to augment our capabilities, not replace them.
So Apple's AI-powered writing tools are a great example of how AI can enhance our productivity without taking over completely.
Exactly. And we're likely to see, more and more of these AI-assisted productivity features in the future.
Which is great, as long as we remember that we're still the ones in control. AI is a tool, and we get
Uh,
to decide how we use it.
well said. And speaking of control, maybe we should shift our focus to an area where users often feel a lack of control.
Yeah. Oh,
Notifications.
yeah, notifications. The bane of my existence. They're
Mhm.
constantly vying for my attention. And it can be so overwhelming.
I hear you. We're all like bombarded with notifications these days, and it's hard to stay focused. But Apple's trying to address this problem with AI-powered notification management in iOS 18.1.
Really? Tell me more about that.
Okay, so they've introduced a feature called notification summaries, which uses AI to group similar notifications together and deliver them at specific times a day. So instead of getting a constant stream of alerts throughout the day, you can choose to get a digest of like less urgent notifications, say in the morning or evening.
That sounds way less distracting, like having a gatekeeper for my notifications, filtering out the noise.
Exactly. And the AI comes in because it's learning your notification patterns and figuring out which ones are most important to you.
So it's not just about, grouping notifications by app. It's about understanding which ones I actually care about.
Precisely. It's about making notifications more relevant and less intrusive, so you can stay focused on what matters.
That's a huge win in my book. I hate feeling like I'm at the mercy of my notifications.
I think we all do. And Apple's AI-powered approach to notification management is a welcome step in the right direction.
It's another great example of how AI can be used to enhance our digital lives without, sacrificing our privacy or control.
Well said. And speaking of privacy, maybe we should wrap up our deep dive into Apple Intelligence with a final thought on this crucial topic.
Okay, privacy. That's something we've touched on throughout this conversation, but it's worth emphasizing because as AI gets more powerful, the potential for misuse of our data also grows.
You're absolutely right. And Apple's approach to AI is unique in that they've made privacy a core principle. Their focus on on-device processing and differential privacy means that your data is like more protected than ever before.
It's reassuring to know that Apple is taking privacy seriously, especially in this age of data breaches and surveillance.
It is, and it's something we should all demand from the companies that are developing and deploying AI. Our data is valuable, and it should be treated with respect.
Well said. And with that, we've come to the end of our deep dive into Apple Intelligence.
We hope you found it informative and insightful.
Remember, the future of AI is still being written, and we all have a role to play in shaping it. So stay informed, ask questions, and demand that AI is used for good, not for profit or control.
And don't forget to subscribe to Kabir's YouTube channel for his upcoming founder interview series. It's going to be a blast.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Kabir's Tech Dives.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how Apple's kind of weaving AI into these everyday features.
Right, like they're trying to make it feel like magic, not some like plunky add-on.
Which makes sense, given their obsession with user experience. But it does make you wonder, is there a risk that like people will miss out on these AI features if they're too subtle?
It's like Apple is playing hide and seek with its AI. Like, oh, you want to summarize that long email? Well, you got to click this menu, then that option. It's not exactly intuitive.
They're walking a tightrope, that's for sure. Make it too obvious and it feels forced, too hidden, and it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. And we can't talk about Apple and AI without mentioning privacy.
Absolutely. It's in their DNA at this point. And with AI, it's even more crucial.
Because AI relies on data.
Right.
Right. The more data it has, the better it gets. But that also means there's more potential for that data to be, misused.
Exactly. Which is why I think Apple's focus on-device processing is so interesting. They're trying to have their AI cake and eat it too, like powerful features, but without sending your personal stuff to the cloud.
Okay, back up a sec. Explain on-device processing to someone who, well, doesn't build iPhones for a living.
Okay, so think of it this way, right? Your iPhone has become a mini supercomputer, especially with those M-series chips. They're capable of running these incredibly complex AI algorithms like right there in your hand.
So instead of sending my photos or messages to a server somewhere to be, analyzed by AI.
It all happens locally on your device,
Yeah.
which means Apple doesn't need to collect as much of your data. And what they do collect is much more secure.
So it's good for both privacy and performance because, let's be real, sometimes waiting for things to process in the cloud it's a total drag.
Exactly. On-device AI means things can happen faster, more efficiently, and you're not relying on a good internet connection. It's a win-win.
Okay, so Apple is playing the long game, with AI, focusing on these subtle integrations, keeping things private. But how does that stack up against the competition? Everyone's talking about AI these days, Google, Microsoft, the whole gang.
It's a different strategy, that's for sure. Other companies are releasing, these flashy standalone AI apps, while Apple is more about weaving AI into the fabric of
It's
iOS.
almost like they're trying to redefine what AI means for everyday users.
Yeah.
Not some separate thing you have to think about, but just part of how your devices work.
Which could be incredibly powerful, if they pull it off. Imagine a world where like your iPhone anticipates your needs, seamlessly automates tasks, enhances your creativity, all without you even realizing that AI is behind it.
That sounds amazing,
Mm.
but also a bit freaky. Like how much control are we giving up to these algorithms?
That's the million-dollar question, and frankly, one we should all be asking. As AI gets smarter, we need to be, I think, more thoughtful about where we draw the line.
Right. AI should be a tool that empowers us, not something that controls us or makes decisions for us.
Exactly. We need to be in the driver's seat, even as the technology gets, more sophisticated.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the technical side of things, the privacy implications, the competition, but what does this all mean for the average iPhone user? What's the takeaway?
I think the key takeaway is that, Apple is betting big on AI, but they're doing it in a very Apple way. It's not about flashy gimmicks or trying to outdo the competition in terms of like raw AI power. It's about creating a seamless, intuitive, and private experience that enhances your life without feeling intrusive.
It's like that classic Apple saying, "It just works." Only this time, it just works thanks to AI.
Exactly. And while iOS 18.1 might not feel like a huge leap forward, it lays the foundation for what could be a truly revolutionary shift in how we interact with our devices.
So we should be excited, but also cautious.
Always. We need to be informed users,
Mm.
asking questions, understanding the implications, and holding these companies accountable.
Well said. Now, before we move on to something a bit different, I want to take a moment to remind everyone about my founder interview series launching next month on YouTube.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'll be chatting with some of the most innovative minds in tech, folks who are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, they'll be sharing their insights on everything from, the future of AI
Mhm.
to the challenges of building a successful startup.
Exactly. We'll be diving deep into their biggest successes, their toughest lessons, and their predictions for the future of technology.
Make sure you're subscribed to Kabir's YouTube channel so you don't miss out.
Thanks for the plug. I
Yeah.
really appreciate the support. Now, back to Apple Intelligence. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the somewhat underwhelming features in iOS 18.1 to the more ambitious promises of what's to come.
It's a mixed bag, that's for sure.
But I think that the biggest takeaway for me is that Apple is clearly taking a different approach to AI than many of its competitors.
Yeah, they're not, chasing headlines or trying to wow us with flashy demos.
Instead, they're focusing on integrating AI in a way that feels natural, intuitive, and almost invisible.
Yeah, they're betting that users will appreciate this more subtle approach in the long run.
And they're doubling down on privacy, which is
Right.
more important than ever in this age of data breaches and surveillance.
Right.
So while the AI revolution might not be as dramatic as some people were expecting, it's happening, and Apple is playing a key role in shaping its direction. I agree.
And ultimately, that's what this deep dive is all about, helping you understand these complex technologies and their impact on your life.
We want you to be informed users, asking questions,
Yeah.
making conscious choices, and demanding that AI is used for good.
Because the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're all creating together.
Well said.
And with that, we've come to the end of our deep dive into Apple Intelligence.
We hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
Remember to stay curious, keep learning, and always be willing to challenge the status quo.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Kabir's Tech Dives.